Brad Miller with flybass.com today, and I want to tell you about a few things that we got coming down the pike here that I think you're going to be very, very excited to see. You know, last summer we spent quite a bit of time, and I did some videos on this, fly fishing with hopper patterns. Now, there's nothing revolutionary about people using hopper patterns for anything, especially trout and bass and things like that. We all know that. But what we did was we used these specific foam-bodied hopper patterns that turned out to be so much more floatable than the deer hair ones that you're typically going to use. Now, I don't have anything against deer hair hopper patterns and poppers and that kind of stuff. And some of them are incredibly ornate and they're beautiful. But the problem is, after a while, the deer hair gets wet and it starts to sink and you can't dry them out, and it becomes a glorified muddler, streamer. And we don't like that. If we're going to fish top water, we want to fish top water. I want something that's going to float that I don't have to screw around with too much. I don't want to have to add a lot of floating to it, a bunch of goop and other stuff that kills the action on the fly. So what I like is a pattern that's made of foam, polyfoam, okay? Just like your poppers are. But there's going to be days when those fish will not take that popper. And you had them, and if you haven't had them, you're going to have them. And then typically the modus operandi is to go to a streamer, to go underwater. You just assume, well, if they're not taking them top water, I guess I'm just going to have to start throwing a clouser or a streamer or something else down below. And that's kind of the way things have always worked. Well, guess what? We found that there was a missing link between the topwater popper activity and the underwater action last summer. And what it was using these various and assorted types of hopper patterns. They're all made out of foam, and they all work extremely well, emulating and imitating a number of different types of critters. In this big trout bass selection that we've got from flybass.com, this one I call the AWOL selection. For those of you not familiar with the military parlance, AWOL means absent without official leave. And there was quite a few of these that all of a sudden disappeared last summer on us, and in most cases it was in the mouth of a smallmouth bass, and many big ones at that. This one, for example, I use as a hopper pattern, but it also doubles as a great dragonfly type pattern too, or even a damsel. So this pack contains 6 different patterns, and all of them come into their own. These hopper poppers that we used last summer were especially cool because you could actually pop them a little bit like a popper if you wanted to give them a little bit extra action. But you could dead drift them and just shake them, and those fish, the bass would come up and take them like a trout. In many cases, they won't blast them because, again, they're not aggressively. If they're not going to aggressively go up and blast that popper, they might still come up and pop a terrestrial and just suck one in on the surface, and that's what we found last year. So for those of you that don't think you're out of luck for the day, and you're not going to be able to catch any fish top water, and you like to catch them that way, and hey, who doesn't? You know, all's not lost if the poppers don't work. Try some of these hopper patterns. I guarantee you, if you try the hopper patterns, they will work for you. You'll get fish that come up and sip them on those days when they won't hit the poppers. But what I'm especially excited about are the small, medium now, and large size Magnum hopper patterns, hopper poppers that we're going to have this spring available from flybass.biz. Probably going to be a couple months that we have them available, and we're certainly going to let you know when they are. But the size that we used last summer was this size right here on approximately a size 4 hook, okay? And they work fine. We caught a lot of nice fish on that size of a hopper, but the whole summer we were wishing, God, I wish I could get one that was a little bit bigger. And this one here is 1.25 inches long. The smallest ones are about an inch and a quarter, I should say. This is 1.5 inches long on a larger hook, okay? And these Magnum ones are 1.75 inches long Magnum hopper pattern, 1.75 inches body length. And I know that we're going to catch some monster bass on these things this summer. You don't have to wait until the hoppers start coming out in July either. They'll hit these things right off the bat as soon as the season opens. Guess what? These bigger fish, they've been eating these hoppers for years. They know what they are, and they'll come up and eat them. So we'll let you know when these hoppers are available, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on it because it's going to be so much fun when we start throwing these big things and plop them on the water this summer. We're all going to have a lot of fun, and I hope to see you on the I hope to see you on the stream this summer, just so long as it's not one of my honey holes. So long. Brad Miller with FlyBass.com.